Today, we are strapping in for a massive, emotional, and action-packed installment in the current Spidey saga with the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 19. If you catch our previous breakdown of issue number 18, you know that back on Earth, things are grim. Norman Osborn is bleeding out in J. Jonah Jameson's apartment, hunting Tombstone while being hunted himself by a mysterious anti-goblin crusade. But while Norman fights for his soul in the dirty alleys of NYC, Peter Parker is millions of light years away, trapped in a high-stakes space opera. This arc, The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, puts Peter through the absolute ringer. He gets punched into orbit by the terrifying villain Hellgate, saved by the morally ambiguous Dr. Xanto Starblood, and bonded with a living Technarch suit named Glitch. This issue is the climax of the Space Spidey arc. It is about trauma, the temptation of power, and the desperate need to get home. There is a lot to cover, from Rocket Raccoon's fruit-based battle strategies to a rematch with the entity that nearly kills our boy. So let's take a deep breath of recycled spaceship air and break down the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 19. We open on planet Kalo, specifically the Pinnacle Plinth. It is a green, crystalline alien city that feels ancient and foreboding. We witness a tense political dispute between Nicodemu, the seer, and her subordinates. Nicodemu warns them about what I saw, but they are dismissive, claiming that wounded pride will not save us. This scene establishes the arrogance of the local leaders. They refuse to listen to her warnings and tell her that her priority is the reintegration of Kalo. They also want to leave the Steel Silk Prince, Hellgate, alone. This confirms that Hellgate is not just an invader. He is being actively tolerated by the ruling class of this planet, adding a layer of political intrigue to the physical threat. We cut to far orbit around the Dolma Benari Stargate, where the tone shifts to classic Marvel comic humor. Rocket Raccoon leads a strategy meeting using produce. He holds up a carrot to represent their ship, the Beacon, and a melon to represent the Stargate. It is a hilarious visual that grounds the high-concept sci-fi in Rocket's gritty personality. Rocket explains the socio-political turd burger of the sector. The Kree and Shi'ar are at war, and Wakanda is off the grid. This is crucial world building, reminding us that Peter is small potatoes in a galaxy on fire. We also get a great character beat with Raelith, who asks a very literal question. How does someone grow a melon large enough to be a Stargate? It highlights her innocence and unfamiliarity with Rocket's metaphors. Meanwhile, Glitch is just thankful that Peter is conscious, noting that every waking moment is a delightful new torment. The strategy meeting continues. The team discusses whether they can pilot the ship to the gate, and Xanto confirms he can operate it. Rocket asks if they can indiscriminately throw high-yield explosives at the problem, to which the team enthusiastically agrees, yes, before realizing they probably cannot. Raelith steps up as the emotional anchor. She tells Peter to wipe away your worry face. She lists their strengths. She is strong, Rocket is crafty, Peter and Glitch are smart, and Xanto Starblood is all of that and also a very terrible person. Peter takes a moment to thank them all, acknowledging that despite Xanto being the worst, they save him when he is helpless. Xanto, true to form, accepts the insult as a compliment, applauding Peter's feeble-minded ethics. The scene ends with Ray adjourning the meeting for a drinking meeting, leaving Peter out because he is as unto a child. As the ship prepares to move, we get a quiet, character-driven scene between Peter and Raelith. Peter tries to explain Earth concepts, specifically ice cream. He rattles off flavors, Rocky Road, pistachio, pralines, and cream, trying to convey the joy of home to an alien warrior. Raelith interprets ice cream as I scream, creating a linguistic bridge between her warrior culture and Peter's comfort food. The conversation turns serious. Raelith recites a prophecy about the strongest star of highest born rising to mend the planet. She senses Peter's fear. She knows he is terrified that Hellgate will follow him back to Earth. This vulnerability is key to this arc. Peter is not quipping to hide his fear here. He openly admits it. This page delivers the emotional climax of their relationship. Raelith touches Peter's chest, telling him, "There is no shame in this, Peter. He hurt you." Peter replies, "Only everywhere." Raelith corrects him, "He didn't hurt your heart. Your heart is the strongest I've ever met." It is a beautiful sentiment. Peter feels weak because he is physically overpowered by Hellgate, but Raelith reminds him that his true strength comes from his resilience. She promises to protect him on Earth, provided she gets that ice cream she is promised. The intimacy here is palpable, whether platonic, romantic, or born from shared trauma, and it binds them together just before the final fight. Here, we find the thematic crux of the arc. Dr. Xanto Starblood approaches Peter with a glowing canister. It is a genetic recoder, handcrafted to recombine Peter's primal building blocks and optimize him for the ambient radiation of space. In simple terms, it will make him stronger. Peter asks, "Stronger?" And Xanto confirms it is what Peter has yearned for since this odyssey began. But Xanto wants him not to use it. Xanto admits his scientific curiosity is screaming to just jab Peter with it. But then, surprisingly, the mad scientist shows a sliver of humanity. He admits he has developed a fondness and respect for Peter. He warns Peter, "I would hate for you to lose what you are, to gain something you may not need." Xanto guarantees physical enhancements, but cannot predict the effect on Peter's essence. This is the pivotal moment. Peter is left with a choice, not to take it, where he trusts his own heart, as Raelith says, or to take it, where he seeks external power that might compromise who he is. His choice highlights the fundamental difference between Peter and Norman. The beacon, their ship, launches. The alarms are off, and the jump ship is fueled. Glitch tries one last time to goad Peter, asking if he is so crushed by meaninglessness that he is throwing himself into space without a goodbye. Peter deflects with humor, saying he is actually just going to run to the store for bread. It is classic Spidey deflection, using humor to mask the terror of the suicidal mission they are about to undertake. We get a fascinating glimpse into Glitch's psyche. He catalogs celestial bodies out of boredom. He is an immortal observer who views these heroes as fleeting distractions, yet he helps them. He watches them leave, noting that black and yellow make for lovely funeral attire, predicting their doom. It adds a layer of cosmic tragedy to the mission. Even their benefactor thinks they are marching to their deaths. Peter arrives at the Stargate, but something is wrong. The battlefield is silent. There's no fighting, no resistance. It is haunting, wreckage floating in the orange haze of the nebula. They find Hellgate standing amidst a sea of bodies. It is a scene of absolute devastation, showing that Hellgate has already won the local conflict. Hellgate is an imposing, armored figure, visually reminiscent of a Dark Knight or a destroyer. He stands over the corpses of the Seer's warriors, mocking them for being loud. Nicodemu is also here. She asks, "Where is your wretched?" referring to Raelith. The tension explodes. This is not a stealth mission anymore. It is a confrontation with a monster who has just slaughtered an army. Peter stands up. He admits to Hellgate, "You did a number on me, Helly. Rocked me like a hurricane." He confesses his trauma. Hellgate strips away everything he loves and chucks him across the galaxy. But Peter stands his ground. He says, "If I didn't come here knowing you'd be here waiting, that feeling may have taken up all the space in my body." He is fighting to reclaim his agency, refusing to let fear dictate his actions anymore. Hellgate is unimpressed. He calls Peter a speck and says he has no right to make demands. Hellgate reveals his motivation. He does not need help. He needs Peter's corpse to drop at the feet of Peter's loved ones before enslaving them. It is a chilling threat that raises the stakes. If Peter fails here, Earth is next. Peter retorts, "I just wanted to make sure I tried," and the fight is on. Peter attacks with his glitch suit. The suit forms a massive axe-like construct. The fight is kinetic and brutal. Peter moves with fluidity and uses the adaptability of the glitch suit to create weapons. Spidey taunts him, saying, "Hope springs eternal," as he parries the attacks effortlessly. Despite their efforts, Hellgate is too strong. He counters Peter's attack with a massive axe of his own. He smashes through their defenses. Peter quips, "Remind me to axe you later," maintaining his banter even as he fights for his life. Hellgate taunts them, saying, "Better, you're no longer holding back, neither shall I." Hellgate slams Peter down. Peter realizes the ground is giving way. He is falling again, just like before. He thinks, "I smell the air before I see it, the proving grounds where he dumped me." Peter is knocked back into a familiar feeling of helplessness. He is plummeting into the depths of planet Kylo, separated from his team. It looks like history is repeating itself. Peter is beaten, broken, and falling into the abyss. But this time, he is not alone. As Peter falls, he sees Rocket's ship, the Beacon, diving after him. But it is not the ship that saves him. It is Rocket and the team. He dives after him, defying the nihilistic option of sticking to the plan. He asks him to swing out of the way. It is a stunning visual sequence that reinforces the theme of the issue. Peter survives not because he is the strongest, but because he inspires loyalty and love in others. As Peter swings toward the team, Raelith, dazed, jokes, "You promised ice cream," and grabs Peter's hand. It is a callback to their earlier bonding moment, grounding the high-octane action in their friendship. Rocket tells him they have two options: die playing cosmic patty cake or kill the big chump and get back to Earth by sticking to the plan. They choose to fight. Raelith grabs Peter and pulls him inside. Hellgate looms over them, calling Peter a coward. Raelith gives Peter a hug and comforts him. This is a significant role reversal. Usually, Spidey is the one protecting the civilian or the sidekick. Here, Raelith steps up as the primary warrior, acknowledging Peter's spirit as his true strength.